All right, we're talking Black Panther casting here. We got a lot of rumors out. Jameson Idris seems to be the center of attention, being the new Black Panther, whether that be recasting another T'Challa and him being that for another universe or just bringing him from the village. However, they're going to do that. So, Scotty, I don't want to talk casting news. Everybody can do that. You get that information anywhere. What I want to talk about is what they should actually do. So,
Mhm.
my first question I want to go with, but before I do that, hit that sub button, hit that like button. This is Minor League Films here. It's your boy Flyknit J. Got my co-host Scotty here, who is the comics expert on this channel.
Mm.
So we go to him with all comic news. So Scotty, got a couple questions for you. So first of all, I think everybody forgot about Letitia Wright in this scenario. She is the current Black Panther, being Shuri as of right now. I thought she was, I would say, solid in Black Panther 2. Not great, not terrible, but I thought she was pretty solid. Definitely an emotional movie right there. I thought she did a really good job in that movie as well. So I will say, should we just leave Letitia Wright as Black Panther? Your
Nope.
opinion on that?
No. And I think she did a good job with what she had in that movie, since they didn't anticipate Chadwick Boseman dying. RIP to him.
Yeah.
It made sense. The audience is familiar with her character. She has the same bloodline. She obviously has similar goals T'Challa would have in trying to protect her people in the second movie. So I think
Yeah.
that casting made sense. That makes perfect sense. She was Black Panther in the books for a while too, even though their personality is completely different from the books and the movies. To have a T'Challa like to come in here and replace her would be great. I don't see it. Just from the like aesthetic side alone, I don't really see it. I didn't really like how well, again, I can't complain, but I would rather a Black Panther come in there and whoop Namor's ass wholesale. Like, and use a whole bunch of Black Panther tech and whoop his ass. I would have rather have seen that than her fight him. So
Yeah, I would say
I'm
I
not
think
into
she.
it.
Oh yeah, I would say I think she did a really good job just as Shuri in that role and the emotional weight of that movie. That movie was very emotional, obviously with the mom passing, Black Panther dying. It was just a lot of death in that movie, and she dealt with it pretty heavy handed. So I thought she did a good job. I think I don't really have a gripe with it, but I think my feel is like she just doesn't feel like the Black Panther of this universe. Like we really in I get it. It was a big movie, especially for us, because seeing a Black Panther movie is probably something that we really never thought we would see until it happened. Like having a predominantly Black cast movie in total, especially being in Marvel with that high of a budget and having Chadwick Boseman, who's a great actor. Unfortunately, he passed away, but just coming out and being that role is something I never thought we would see. And then we get it. And it's like, he just feels so iconic that for anybody else coming into that role or anybody else like filling these shoes, it just feels like, oh, that's not our guy. Like we had our guy to fill this role and kind of be like, I don't want to say like, Jackie Robinson, like he didn't break barriers, but it's kind of a barrier broken to what level of movie this is because we hadn't got that before with that
Mhm.
high of an investment. So that feels like a heavy role. And I would say Letitia Wright in that role just feels like this happened so fast we didn't plan for it. We just filled her in because she needed to be. I thought she did a really good job, but she doesn't feel like Black Panther. She feels like a predominant character in this universe, but she
Mhm.
just doesn't feel like Black Panther because that's not what the plan was supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That same thing. I have the same thoughts you have. Like, she did a really good job with what they were giving her. But I
Mhm.
do feel like that role of a Chadwick Boseman or someone that's a male figure, I actually think it would have done a little bit better with the storyline. So that's just me. I'd rather have another Black Panther come in and take her place than have her stay as a role.
Yeah, I feel like she's someone who could definitely like be around, and if she needs to put on the suit, like go put on the suit. But I think with just in talking in that character, a lot is going on in that village. Obviously, lost her mom, who was leading the village. Lost Chadwick Boseman. Like her, just as a leader of the village, you could do a lot of cool things with her character. And I understand too, she was Black Panther in the comics at a time. But like, I feel like there's just more she could do to be pinned down since Black Panther role. It just feels like extra on that character's plate versus just being that character, which I thought she was really good as that character in the second movie. So I think we're in agreement with that one, which pushes me to my second question. I want to ask you this. We all obviously understand what's coming down the line to Avengers movies with Doomsday, that line coming down. I still have beef with them the way they did Doctor Doom and Fantastic Four. We're not going to talk about that right now because still can't convince me that wasn't me in that role. And if
Yeah.
anybody can, let me know. But I will say we have that multiverse coming down the line, obviously with Doomsday coming. Do we see another T'Challa from another universe that could walk in? We talked James and Idris, but there could be other actors out there. I mean, I think we can probably handful name off a list of characters we could, or a list of actors we could see as that role. But do we get another T'Challa from another universe?
I think that's the only thing they can do, because even the whole him having a son, I thought wasn't needed unless you're going to age him up or eventually he's going to be on some kind of team or something. Otherwise, I thought
Yeah,
that was kind of like pointless. But I think you have to get another T'Challa from another one of these universes that looks like a dancing Idris, something like a chocolate black dude should be playing him.
yeah,
So I think you have to grab him from some other world, some other timeline, because no one else in the main Marvel universe I could see being Black Panther. I can't see the Jabari dude that plays Mane. I don't
yeah.
see that happening, even though they kind of positioned him to be the new leader of the village. I don't see him being a Black Panther, and I don't see they don't highlight any other male figures in the village in the second one to convince me they could take up the mantle. So it has to be somebody from a different universe that's already T'Challa.
I would say definitely there's gonna be. I mean, they could always say, like, "Oh, he's been in the village. We just never seen him before," which would be a little silly.
Yeah,
I would say that. Oh, we got this Black Panther guy right here. You just haven't seen him on
yeah,
screen, and he
he's
hasn't
been
showed up
here.
through all the trials and tribulations we've had through 2 movies. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's a perfect candidate. Now, I think if you're gonna pull a T'Challa, I think definitely should be some from another universe. Obviously, we see they want to do stuff with that character. We talked, I don't know if we talked about it, but we both saw Marvel Zombie, and they had T'Challa in that one for a bit. And you felt like it was another send off to him. So they're alluding to they want this character around. They don't want T'Challa to go anywhere. If they're
Mhm.
gonna do that, and I think this is my question here: do we pull T'Challa from another universe, or do we just have a different Black Panther at all? I mean, we and I actually heard the recent interview. They talked about T'Challa, him being in that prominent role, and you just can't see somebody replacing him. And even the cast talked about this, like he was such a superhero in that role that it's like we can't just pull another T'Challa. We have such an attachment to Chadwick Boseman that like we built this with him. We feel like we can't have somebody else be that guy. Do they pull another T'Challa, or do they completely bring another Black? I mean, you might know, you'll know more than I do. Is there other Black Panthers out there that you can see pulled in to replace T'Challa and just be like another guy entirely?
No, I've even heard people say bring in a Killmonger from another universe that just so happens to be a T'Challa. I'm not a Black Panther.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even like that because I don't think it's necessary. I think you just have another Black Panther from another world. Give a couple lines about how his world was being destroyed, like in the Deadpool vs Wolverine when all the people were scattered.
yeah,
You could just say he went through a portal just like they did, and here a fresh start, and it could maybe even make him a rougher T'Challa, kind of like Killmonger if you want to make him a little tougher. I don't know how else they want to do it, but no, I think you should bring in a T'Challa. I don't think we need to like muddy the waters and bring in a Killmonger or
mhm,
somebody else and then learn his whole backstory on what his world was. Just bring in T'Challa and just have him feel all the similarities for his world, except for this one's alive, his world's dead. That's fine.
yeah. One, I think, and we'll take this example, bring the Jameson Idris into this world. One, it could set up with they like a cool movie where Black Panther loses, and maybe the village, and that's gonna be Namor, but we saw him wreck the village, but that village
Mhm.
completely gets wrecked and everybody dies in another movie, which I think would be cool. I would love for Marvel to bring a movie in where the thing doesn't end well, and that's how using multiverses like, well, I have a chance to make sure this doesn't happen in another universe versus them using the multiverse and just being like, oh, we're just going to bring, different characters in. They're going to hang out here, just because it's fun. Like, I think that's a good, and I thought we've used the multiverse maybe a little too much, but I think that's a good reason to use it. Say, like, hey, I don't want this to happen here because I've seen it happen in another universe, which I thought they were going to do with Fantastic Four. But I thought they
Yeah.
dropped the ball on that one, saying, like, hey, Galactus wrecked our planet. We know there's a Galactus in this universe. Maybe it's the same when he comes over, but I don't want this to happen to you guys. And I always thought that's a good way to bring in the multiverse, other than like, oh, I was having a good time there, but I'm Spider-Man. Let me hang out here and see
Yeah.
what this Mary Jane looks like.
Yeah. This they gotta do. I think that's the easiest way. Just bring him in, have a little backstory, like you said, where his planet didn't make it for whatever reason, and then he gets stuck there. That works perfectly fine. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But we're gonna see a whole bunch of multiversal variants in Doomsday. Apparently, they got like 5 different Captain America shields there. It's probably gonna be a lot of each character, along with bringing in the universe of the X-Men. He can be from the X-Men universe. the old X-Men
Yeah.
from 2000 to early 2000s. He can just come in with them, honestly, and I'd be cool. I'd be glued to the TV, like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing. This makes me laugh. Is Mary Jane's black here? She looks like Zendaya. Yeah, I'm gonna hang out here for a while.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think it's definitely with Doomsday coming down the line. It's a good way to bring it in because it feels like Marvel's kind of up in the air. You talked about T'Challa's son. I think that was built up for like young Marvels. I mean, obviously we've seen that with the different characters brought up. I don't know if they're gonna. That feels like a TV show. Though I don't necessarily want that to be a TV show because I feel like the investment in the TV shows completely different than the investments in the movie. So it
Yep.
feels like when they're serious about something, they make a movie. When they don't know about something, they make a TV show, and you either get it like Hawkeye where it's good, or you get Ironheart where it's like y'all didn't really try in this
Yeah.
show. Like
Yep.
you cheaped out in the first episode, and we already know like you didn't really put that much here. You just made it because you said you were gonna do it, and then you're like, fuck, we gotta do it.
Mhm.
So I feel like Young Marvels could be a movie down the line, but I feel like that level of T'Challa and having his son come up is not the right move here. I feel like definitely with Doomsday coming down the line, we got different people coming in. I don't know how they're going to combine them because we've seen the Fantastic Four ship in the other universe, but they didn't exactly connect that in the end of Fantastic Four, which is probably one of our beefs,
Yeah.
the failure of Fantastic Four. I feel like that's an easy avenue to bring one in. And definitely, I'm with you. If there's another T'Challa, I'd rather just have T'Challa. We know his background. We know things just didn't, whatever happened on this planet, it just didn't work out. And now he's here fighting.
Yeah, and then that's the perfect backstory and perfect reason to bring him in because they're going to use that reason to bring in other characters anyway, like
Yeah.
the old school X-Men, and they're going to probably kill off majority of them in a big fight and all kind of stuff like that. You could like in this big fight where everybody comes over, just have the people that survive stay. That's
Yeah.
pretty easy to me. I think that's what they're doing anyway. That's the simplest reason they can do it, and it'll please the audience, kind of like Deadpool Wolverine. Give us a simple explanation and then move on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It feels like Marvel one is at a split point. They're
Mhm.
obviously moving on from the old characters, but I don't think they know exactly how to do that. But I feel like the more we talk about Marvel, the more we found ways to be like, oh, this is really not that hard. You have this avenue right here, you have this movie right here to introduce new characters, and we could go with there. And I think they still have a bunch of characters still around that are like, these are still good characters, and you use them, and we just haven't seen them give as much shed light, but it's like you can definitely give them more light and bring them into the front. I think people will be happy with it. So we will see how Doomsday goes. But we want to talk Black Panther and what they should do with that character with our comic book expert Scotty here. So Scotty, wrapping up there. If they want more comic book expertise, where can they find that at?
Kuronocomics on TikTok. I try to post every day. I was on vacation for a while. I'll get back to posting every day tomorrow. But I post random comic book facts, random comic reviews, stuff like that. And if you want to find more of that on the longer scale, you can follow us on here. Like, share, comment.
Yeah, Minor League Films on here, but you've already found us. If you want to find some of our shorts pages, we got MLF Shorts, which is here on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Instagram. So if you're on any of those, go ahead and check that page out because all the basically shows we talk about, we have shorts from that are pretty cool. So definitely doing that. Kuronocomics, as he said, but hit that sub button. We are chasing 1,000 subs here, and we will have a gift card giveaway. So at that point, we will raffle that off and appreciate the support. Hit the comments. Let me know what you want to do with Black Panther. Are you happy with the current Black Panther? Do you want Shuri to continue? Do you want a new T'Challa? Or do you want a completely different Black Panther overall? And we'll get back to you soon with more videos. We just dropped the failures of Alien Earth. So if you're a fan of that, go ahead and check that out because sometimes we have beef with that episode, and that'll be an on-running series. So we're going to talk about that. That's all I got for you. All that good stuff. We will catch you next time.